This is The Space Shot, episode 66 for July 19th, 2017. The X-15 and the first civilian in space. Hey everyone, welcome to The Space Shot, your daily space history, pop culture, and news fix. I'm John Molnix. Today's episode's a little bit shorter than usual because I'm prepping for tomorrow's episode, which is shaping up to be a little bit more involved than normal. I also want to say thank you to everybody that's followed me on Twitter and Instagram, and that's also subscribed to the podcast in the last couple days. On July 16th, 17th, 19th, and 26th in 1962, Joe Walker, Robert M. White, John B. McKay, and Neil Armstrong flew the X-15 hypersonic rocket-propelled aircraft on a series of test flights. These 4 flights in July were part of a series, which were taking place at a pace of about 1 per week, and that had been going on since April of 1962. Research into hypersonic flight was undertaken in a joint effort by NASA, the United States Air Force, the United States Navy, and North American Aviation. The 4 flights in July of 1962 were part of a larger series of tests that spanned a decade and saw the X-15 reach space and fly at a maximum speed of Mach 6.7. Fast forward a year to 1963 and jump in the X-15 cockpit with test pilot Joe Walker. On July 19, 1963, over the dry lake at Edwards Air Force Base, Walker flew an X-15 into space for the first time. This historic flight, Flight 90, only lasted 11 minutes and 24 seconds, but it marked 2 milestones for the X-15 program. Since Joe Walker wasn't a member of the armed forces when he was flying these missions, this flight was the first time that a U.S. civilian went into space. During Project Mercury, all of the astronauts were active duty officers in one of the branches of the United States Armed Forces. This Flight 90 was also the first time that a winged craft had launched into space. Walker was a World War II veteran pilot, and in addition to testing various aircraft, he was also the, quote, first man to pilot the Lunar Landing Research Vehicle that was used to develop piloting and operational techniques for lunar landings. I talked about the LLRV a little bit in episode 63, so be sure to check out that episode if you haven't already. The next civilian to fly into space was Neil Armstrong on the Gemini 8 mission. Armstrong flew an X-15 7 times, with his last flight taking place on July 26, 1962. Before going into space on Gemini 8 and Apollo 11 and flying his X-15 missions, Armstrong flew the X-1B, which was a variant of the first plane to break the sound barrier, as well as numerous fighters, bombers, and other larger aircraft as a test pilot. If you're interested in learning more about the X-15, episodes 25 and 26 have some more details on this program. Tomorrow, the Eagle has landed. Thank you all for listening to the show. Producing a daily podcast takes a lot of time, and I would love if you could take just a minute to leave a rating or review in Apple Podcasts and let me know what you think. If you're so inclined, you can ask me questions and chat on Instagram and Twitter. Find me at John Molnix pretty much everywhere. Subscribe to the podcast and share it with anyone you know that loves history, space, or pop culture. I'm John Molnix, and I'll catch you on the flip side.